Hello everybody. Welcome to the Monday night stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I accidentally unplugged my computer as we were setting things up. So I had to go find everything again. It's this close. I was plugging in the last thing and then, it happened. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope we're all doing really good. We have actually a really fun bunch of illustration to work on today. I am going to start with a little bit of admin. Now, I'm not going to go too far into depth into this because I think I'm one of the last streamers to come to this. I got this news, I think, right after my stream last week, so I missed talking about it last week. Oh, we have Odari and we have RB in the chat. Thank you for joining in. Okay, I won't talk too long, RB, so you can see some art happening today. This news came out really early last week. It looks like Behance is shutting down its live stream for its artists, which is really unfortunate. So I haven't seen the email that everybody's been receiving just yet. The email tied to my Adobe account can sometimes be a little finicky of what it gives me. I haven't seen all the finer details, but it looks like Adobe Live is going to be continuing on. And but all of these kinds of streams on Behance are not going to continue past December 16. So for those of you who are watching on Behance, look at all the links below. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook for live streams, and I'm going to try and figure out Instagram now that I've been cut off from Behance. But those of you who are watching on YouTube already or on Facebook, no change to you. We're just going to continue on as we are. I'm just kind of trying to talk about this as much as I can to make sure that those who are watching on Behance aren't going to miss the streams moving forward, that we're going to shuffle everybody over to YouTube. There's a kind of a big group effort that's going to be going into that as well, but I'll get into it at the end of the chat so that we can get to some art really soon for those of you who are going to be leaving soon. So as I mentioned, a fun project coming in. So I was talking with Mr. Delta Tango Mike. I was talking to Dan last week, and we have come up with a collaboration project, and I'm very excited. So the name of the collaboration is Vector Magic Ain't No Joke. So what we are coming up with together is going to be a Joker card. It's going to be inspired, it's kind of like laid out like a face card, but the Joker is kind of our inspiration here. So the art you see here is what Dan came up with this morning on his live stream at 8:30. If you missed it and want to go back and see what he did for the setup, then please go back to his live streams. He's on YouTube and Behance. So this is kind of his half of the card, and then today we're going to work on my half of the card. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So this week is mostly brainstorming. We're going to kind of rough out some ideas, and then next week's going to be getting into solidifying some of those lines, and then the week after is going to be finalizing it. So this is going to be 3 weeks worth of live streaming for this piece. So I'm very excited for this to come together. We chatted last week, and it's kind of like, there's a lot going on with this. So there's a kind of 2 styles of illustration coming together. Both DTM and I have done coloring book pages in the past. We both work in vector, we both work in fresco, but he is working on the surface, whereas I am in Apple products. I am on the iPad for this, so we're kind of showing the versatility of the app that way and the capabilities there, and we're collaborating on our styles and our different approaches to pull into one piece. So so we're gonna get going. We have Alessandra in the chat. Hello, Alessandra. You guys can let me know if you're lurking. I just want to know, like, it's good to know that people are here, so that's super great. Glad everybody's able to join us today on this Monday afternoon. We're gonna get going on this. So I have a little bit more of actually there's something I drew here that I had. So if that face does, you know what, let's just go to my files, because I have a file that I want to use. Oh, now where did it go? Oh, good. There it is. Can I copy this layer and put it in here? Let's see if we can do this. Okay. Can I? Yes, okay. Sweet. Because I was working on this yesterday and I knew I wanted something that looked like this and I didn't want to spend the whole chat figuring it out. Okay. Okay, so the idea here is that we were just going to come up with two kind of characters, like Joker-inspired characters here. Even not even Joker-inspired, just something that that'll work for in that category roughly. I also knew that DTM was going to come up with. I'm just going to get rid of some of this template for now because he's got a good half going. That I'm going to just clear out some of this so that I don't have to. Oops. Where's my face? There it is. Okay. Because his art's got enough going on here. Okay. Hi, Neil. Welcome to the chat. So I knew that DTM was probably going to come in with doing kind of an Aztec god style. One, he told me. Second, his style really lends that way. So I thought, because I don't really have like lots of gods in my background or in my culture, really, short of getting really religious on this, and I didn't want to do that. So I thought of different things that would play into that kind of theme, but kind of play into my style. So I'm kind of thinking, he's got this really fun drawing character. So I feel like I got to kind of, I adjust mine to work that way a little bit. But I was thinking kind of like a Medusa, kind of Mother Nature-y type character. And I had some really great Firefly outputs. This girl freaked me right out, and I'm going to just draw her all day long. Okay, we're upside down. Okay, let's just undo this for a second. I thought just rotating it would be fun. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do this, and then I'm going to rotate the canvas because we're just going to be here. Oh, I got to flatten. Okay, well, let's just redo then. We'll just keep rotating things. It's all good. It's all good. So this girl kind of came out from one of my Medusa exports and stuff like that. So she's got a lot going on, and I'm going to be using her as a reference for like a really long time. And then there's another one that I really liked, the kind of layout, the flowy hair kind of look to it. There's some pretty good ones, but this one kind of worked too. So I'm just going to throw these references down here. These were exported and created using Firefly, just so that I could get a little bit of a idea of what was going on without being too rigid and kind of like generic styles and stuff. Hello, Cranky Pants. Do you want to say hi to everybody, or are you going to let me draw my picture? Okay, here's Mojo. We've got Ashraful in the chat. I haven't seen you in such a long time, sir. What does it matter for you? Okay, I'm going to draw the picture, okay? I only have like 45 minutes. Okay, just lie down. Okay. Okay, so DTM's character is facing that way in kind of a turny type look. Okay, perfect, because I'm going to have my girl facing this way as well. I did this little kind of face sketch yesterday because I knew I wanted like a 3/4 turn. I thought that would really work with the double faces. But I didn't want to be fumbling through that today, so I figured I would do I would do that ahead of time so that I can start here. Okay, Cranky Pants, you can get down if you'd like to. Sorry guys, daylight savings is not his favorite right now. He doesn't like the extra hour. So what I'm thinking I might do here is, instead of just going very literal with our like Medusa and everything, I'm going to use that kind of idea, but then maybe get some like art pieces and stuff in her hair. So today is all about brainstorming. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to switch my color to a blue just so that we can kind of see our contrast here. So let's see. So what's everybody up to? That's okay. I don't know if that's I gotta still see. Here we go. I don't know if you can see much there. Okay, thank you. So those of you who missed the chat this morning, we're working at 11 by 17. We're ultimately, as I mentioned, going to be having kind of a coloring book page situation happening here. So lots of vector art, lots of line art going on. And then we're going to kind of collaborate our characters. I know DTM was going to be doing some research into what kind of god he wanted to explore with. You're the saddest boy. You gotta let me do this, buddy. I'm sorry. We've been hanging out all day. So he's gonna do research into kind of like the more literal sense of his character here, and then I'm gonna be doing. Please hold. No, I'm not chasing you. Enough. I'm trying to talk to the people, okay? Everybody's gonna leave soon, so stop. Thank you. Okay, I think we're already working a little big, so let's pull her down here. Let's do that. So yeah, there's going to be some research going into kind of what the actual history and lore of his character is, and then I'll be doing the same thing. So right now, it's all just brainstorming, getting everything to fit on the page and match our styles. Thanks for tuning in, RB. Sorry we didn't get too far today, but thanks for tuning in. I wonder if we move her up a little bit. She's got kind of like a... Whew. It's really light, eh? Yikes. Okay. What if I use, like, we'll have a... How do hands work? So if it, like, comes across like this. She does like a, nope. I think she's got casting a spell or something. Yeah, we'll figure that hand out later. Okay. So we're both, so I'm working, like I said, on the, I'm on an Apple iPad Air for this one, and working with the latest version of Adobe Fresco. And then we are working in, ultimately, in the end, we'll be working in vectors and stuff. So what's everybody else working on tonight? What do we got going on? While I figure my layout here, because we're gonna have our hand kind of come like this. What if I have her hair? So while we're chilling here a little bit, there's some of the stuff I wanted to share with you guys. There is a chat for those of you who are streaming on Behance, and this is the first time you're hearing it, which I suspect it's not. There is a Behance last bash situation happening. So people are getting in. DTM is going to be streaming all day that on the last day of streaming. From 10 through till when it shuts down at 6 o'clock. That is a Monday. So I will continue my regular scheduled stream at 7, but I'm going to try and be a part of what DTM is setting up. Jane is also doing a bunch of that stuff from the UK side. So we're going to work with her, with them, and set up a schedule. So if you are interested in that and you have not been sent that link or anything, reach out to me, DTM, Jane Bradbury, anybody out there, somebody or anybody in the chat who might know what's going on. The links are kind of all over the place. So we can get you onto the streaming schedule if you're interested, and then everybody can participate. They're also taking pre-recorded messages if you are not sure about your schedule, or if you're working during the day or something like that, then definitely send a message through if you're interested in participating that way. We're just kind of like just trying to do like a last bash of before Behance shuts the live streams down. But then we're also gathering up information on where everybody's live streams will be. So definitely keep an eye on that for sure. And because I will be continuing my streams will not stop. They'll just be on YouTube and or Facebook. Well, no, and Facebook, but you can join me whichever one interests you the most. So all I'm trying to do here is just kind of get a rough sketch sorted. Layout, kind of soften some of that sketch. It was like pretty aggressive. Yikes. Keys is here. Welcome to the stream. Yikes. Kind of rough, eh? Holy. Okay, let's, some of these lines are pretty harsh. Let's soften some of them up, shall we? I thought it was kind of funny that, of course, DTM was going to do the Aztec god, but it was a male god, and I had these female characters kind of in the wings. Yeah, there was a bit of a blip, Keys. I did start streaming and then immediately unplugged my computer by accident. So you weren't deceived. I just completely unplugged my computer rather than not unplug my computer. And then it came back. Sorry about that. Okay. So she's going to be working some magic. That's what this is going to be. And then I'm just trying to think of what her... Still pretty, like, harsh lines, eh? Not really sure what's going on here. Dari says I need to get on the schedule. After that, I'm going full-time YouTube for 2025. Woohoo! Yeah, so definitely when you have that, send out your links and all the fun stuff, because, yeah, I want to be sure I'm following people. I'm also thinking that if, like, I've never done, like, a dual stream before, like, sharing with somebody else. But I do enjoy them when I do watch those. So I am thinking I might do a little bit of that in the new year if I like doing it in the next bit coming up. So we can chat. We can dual stream. No, her face is looking a little like... I What's happening here? You even used references. Okay. Oh, looking a little better. Yay for the transform tool. Yay for brainstorming sessions. Okay, a little bit better there. Yikes. I'm getting all like worked up about this. Let's just move on. Face is looking a little old. I want to soften it up, but we'll figure something else out. Okay, so I kind of like these long earrings they have. So I'm going to kind of get into a Medusa situation here. And I threw this line here. I'm going to take a leaf out of DTM's approach here. Wider strokes. My lines aren't so literal. And I like some sort of crown something here. And then if we have the oops. It's kind of like such a, I don't know why she looks so old right now. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I don't know what I did. She's just looking different than what I expected. Lots of lines, I think, probably. Harsh and some mellows there. So I'm kind of thinking there's going to be some sort of crown situation, kind of like the girl on the top here. And like I kind of want to take like a Medusa-y approach where we have kind of some of the delicious snakes here. But then also kind of want to leave some options open for to complement what DTM's guy may be doing as well. Hi, Julian. I hope I pronounced that right. Sorry. Yes, it's in Adobe Fresco on the iPad. Doing a collaboration with DTM illustration here. We're doing a Joker. I'm going to flip everybody. Watch your motion sickness. So this is what DTM did earlier today. Actually kind of like this upside down situation. I thought of this earlier that I was like, actually this would be a good thing because this is something I don't do with my pieces that you're kind of supposed to do, sort of. Just flip them around to make sure that they work on different angles and it's also a good way to see if something's not right. Like her face looks really good. underneath here. So maybe it's just, I know it doesn't look too asymmetrical, but I find like if you do something like my mermaid that is kind of like on my logo, when you flip her, scary things happen. Usually like the point is kind of to make sure that like things are symmetrical or things are balanced or that they look in the like accurate. So flipping them is a good kind of habit to get into. I know a friend of mine, that's what was part of her process. Watching her illustrate was crazy on Illustrator and stuff, because she would constantly be flipping her art to make sure that it fit, and it was always like balanced and well reflected and everything else. So something I should be doing in my pieces a little bit more frequently. It's funny, there's something with the face where it's like this. When I turn it over, like I like it a lot better here. I don't know, there's something missing. Maybe, is this line weird? Maybe that line's weird. Who knows? So flipping the art piece is always a good idea. And maybe kind of like using this line. I also kind of want, I don't want her eyes closed either. Kind of want, because like you think the Joker, you kind of got that like kind of sideways. I don't want them to be full white, even though it would be a really great effect. But maybe if we kind of lean into the snake here, if we're going to be doing Medusa, maybe up to something. So if we're going to do that, we need her to have a So I really like the idea of this project because it's kind of like a build as you go. So usually I'll have a lot of this kind of concept idea laid out at the start, but because we're both collaborating and we need them to balance out, I can only go so far before I gotta tag DTM in and see what he comes up with and balance out as well. Haha, see, she's looking a little more jokery now. So I'm going to clear out some of this because I think it's a little too literal. But what if we do no. This. And again, at this point, because we're just figuring things out, it's okay to not really have a like we're not laying on the template or anything too much right now. Just kind of getting the concept down, and then we'll worry about figuring those other little bits, finer details and stuff sorted as well. Hi Solera, welcome to the chat. Oh, finger's a little broken there. Let's oh dear. So I think I've lost her shoulder here entirely. So if she's her shoulder's coming around. She's supposed to be looking over her shoulder. Okay, so we're gonna have to be careful with this because I think this is physically possible, but it may be confusing with how little space we have. So I'm gonna have to work on that. Maybe instead of her looking over her shoulder's like here or something. Or we can use our illustration license and cover all that business up with her hair and whatever the contents are, so that we don't have to explain. I don't think everybody should do that all the time. I use my artistic license like a lot. So, yeah. I'm going to keep going with these snakes for now, because I kind of love the Medusa idea. She doesn't have magic or anything, so it's all open. DTM, if you're watching. I'm not pinning us into any sort of scenarios just yet. Oh, actually, I kind of like that. You have crazy nails. Yes, I'm using Adobe Fresco on the iPad for this one. Collaborative illustration. DTM did all of the illustration that's on the bottom here. And trying to keep it generic right now before we make too many life decisions for her. I think I'm letting the artboard dictate a few too many things here. So yeah, these could be snakes, but we could also make them into something else. Is there a difference between the iPad version and a desktop? Can someone in the chat answer that at all? I have not used the Fresco app on the desktop just yet. I've only used it on iPad just because that's where I started with it. I do understand that the Fresco on the desktop has some specific requirements, but it does, just because it needs, like, the graphics are a lot required. But generally, I think it works very similarly. We're to fix her scary hand, but that's okay. We can fix that in a bit. Like for this kind of art, Solera, I like to use my pencils and things like that. So like the pencil and the pressure and everything. So that's where I use Fresco. Anything a little more literal, I'll use like an Illustrator or Photoshop on the desktop. But I think it depends on your style and how it comes together. And like, have you used Photoshop in the past or anything? Because that would actually be a really good starter for you. Because it's very similar in its kind of approach. There's just some added features and stuff you can do. My desktop version was available. I have Mac. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Alessandra says, I've only used Fresco on my iPad, where my desktop version wasn't available. I have a Mac. Woohoo, Mac! I'm also PC, so I think I'm covered. I also have the iPad. Fair enough. So there you go. So you should be good to try a few different things there. Oops. I have my eraser still picked. Okay, so we're going to iron this out. Using on the touchscreen, yeah. So for what I learned Fresco on the iPad. So this is kind of how I use it best. But I tend to kind of gravitate towards where I'm a little more familiar for speed. Like Illustrator, I learned on the desktop. I know that there's Illustrator on the iPad, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm more of like a shortcuts person when it comes to Illustrator, so I prefer it on the desktop. I'm sure the desktop version works great on for Fresco. I just haven't explored it yet because when I'm on the desktop, I'm going to be more in Illustrator or sometimes in Photoshop. Assistant able to run Windows 11 is better suited for Fresco than Windows 10. Just so you know, keep that in mind. Very cool. Excellent tip. Thanks everybody for diving in there because I had not explored the Fresco app just yet. Oh, look at this. Hang on a second. Why is it not plugged in? Dan made it. Woohoo! He is here. What is happening? Why won't my phone charge? Is this not fully plugged in? What is happening? Okay, I don't know if that's going to last for a long time. Dan is here. So, DTM, our collaborative illustrator, building our counterparts here. Kind of Medusa inspired, but keeping it open so that they can complement each other. She's doing magic, that's for sure. She's got some shady business she's up to. Some jokery goodness. Okay, just clean up some of these lines. Dan says, I like it. Excellent, thank you. We're keeping things open. These don't have to be Medusa snakes. She can be full of art supplies too. So really fun when we were collaborating on this or chatting about different things, and I went into the discussion saying like I was ready to present some ideas, and one of the things that was on my list was a playing card, and we came up, we were chatting like, what if we did like a playing card? I'm like, I think we have to do a playing card now. I think we've got to. It's on both our lists. Oh no. So it's asking, how many layers do you usually use? I've heard that there's a limit between iPads, and other people telling me it's enough with 8 gig RAM, blah, blah. And I saw a guy who says use 200 to 1,000 layers. I don't know of a layer limit in like a physical limit in Fresco. I think I know like Procreate and stuff has a limit, I think. Don't quote me on that. And it could be like between the free and paid versions as well. I have the paid version of Fresco, so I don't run into that limit. Although in some of my more elaborate illustrations that I'm doing with the stained glass, the paper patterns and things, there have been a few where I will build, it's my own fault, I'll build it like an 18 by 24, 300 DPI, and throw a pile of paper patterns and textures and things into it and then paint on top. I have had a few illustrations where I've had to kind of duplicate, reduce, merge all the layers and then continue on. But that's just mostly my own doing. So I think it depends on your style as far as it goes. I cannot personally recall the exact tech specs on my iPad right now. I do know I upgraded it. Like I didn't get the out of the box because I knew this was going to be its purpose. So I did soup it up a little bit to make sure that it had the extra power and was going to last a little longer. But I'm using one layer today, but some of my other files, there's many layers. As Odari would say, layers are free. Yeah, I don't think I'm up to 100 layers on mine yet. Okay, hold still, buddy. I don't think I've ever used like 100 layers, but I think it depends on what you're using and what you're doing with your layers. Like if there's a lot of interaction and masking and all this other kind of stuff, a lot of detail and heavy graphic information, you may be getting into a few issues there. I think it depends on your art, to be honest. Am I a full-time artist? Technically, yes. This work that you're seeing here, this is a collaboration with DTM, Daniel Flores, who you see in the chat. The studio work is not full-time, but I do work as an illustrator in my day life. Keys also says, yeah, it depends on the size that you're drawing at, too, which definitely makes sense. Like right now we're at 11 by 17, which is pretty reasonable, 300 DPI. So I think that's pretty reasonable. Any of that kind of sluggishness that I've run into has been a very large illustration because I will work really large to get lots of detail into it. A lot of the illustrations I did last year, that was the case. Whereas some of the stuff I'm doing this year is a little bit smaller, so it has a lot more give. I tried portrait illustration for the first time in my life on Adobe Illustrator, and it took 15 to 17 days to complete. Wow, look at you right now quickly doing, look at you right now, how quickly you're doing it. You're great. Well, thank you so much. There's been like a lot of research, a lot of practice, a lot going on. I started with some reference here to get our lady going. But these faces, it's a lot of practice, and it will be anywhere near like a realistic illustration. So you'll get into your style. It takes lots and lots and lots and lots of practice. Vectors are easier on the dock than the rasters. Yeah, because it's not pixels and things that it's dealing with. You had issues with like Adobe slowing down when adding and drawing more. Yeah, the only thing, like my fresco would start to lag, but I had probably around 20 to 30 layers at that point. It was an 18 by 24 illustration, 300 DPI. So I was asking a lot of the iPad, to be perfectly honest. I would be surprised if it wasn't lagging. So I would be, I was asking a lot. If this was lagging right now at 11 by 17 with these sketch lines, I'd be a little bit surprised. So you're probably okay. So it's all in the process and what comes together for you. Oh, look at her. See, her face is coming together. I knew it. Just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. Oops. No, I don't like that line. Oh, look at her, spicy lady. Okay, we're going to hit save so we don't lose the spicy lady because there was no plan. I don't think I could draw it again. That happened to me one time. Well, many times, but one time I was a fortune teller that I drew years ago. She's on Behance. Her project's up there. But I spent hours and hours just doing the final touches. All those annoying little things, those little like finicky pieces of lines and all that other kind of stuff. So the whole night doing it, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I got she has this necklace that's like flying off to the side. Because she's in the moment. If you see her, she's like mid-read. And her necklace is flying off to the side. And it looked amazing. And then I went to save it. And it froze. And I lost everything. But the necklace I came up with in the end was good. Just the risk of in the moment. And that wasn't a file. That was just me. I wasn't saving fast enough. That was on me. That was my bad. All right, what do we got? Okay, we got some time. Ooh, coming together. I like it. And I do like a vague prompt to see where things are going to come through. I like it. Ooh. The drawings on the side like reference, or did you do those already? I wish I could take credit for those. No, these two on the right, they're two actually Firefly outputs that I did over the weekend, just kind of like inputting some information. Firefly is the Adobe kind of AI generator. I wanted to kind of come up with some concepts because I was thinking Medusa, Mother Nature kind of things, because I knew DTM was going to approach with, Dan was going to approach it with an Aztec god approach. I don't really have any like cultural kind of gods so much in my history, like in my culture or anything, without going really religious. So I was thinking of kind of like more like Mother Nature-y, mythology, things like that. Those have always really interest me, like kind of a fantasy type magic. So that was where I was going with that. So I went into Firefly and kind of was like Medusa inspired and kind of played with the wording to kind of get a really good reference out, so that I wasn't literally doing Medusa. Like, you go in on this lady, I'm going to use this reference for a lot of things. She really speaks to my style a lot, so we're going to see her as a reference quite a bit. So she's kind of like a snake-like approach to her. Same with kind of the headpiece there. So that's where that's kind of coming from. Like, I wanted stuff in her hair because that, like, flowing hair and things like that kind of lends to some of my style. So I wanted to include that without it being like a literal, like, imitating a stone Medusa art piece or something like that. So those are Firefly outputs. I did not illustrate those. They are going to be used for reference moving forward for quite some time, though. Excellent references, says Dan. Thank you so much. Some of the helpful optimizations is discarding the time-lapse recording and flattening some of the layers. But I love the time-lapse output. It's so satisfying. It's so satisfying. If you can hold on to it, let's do it. Okay, and Keith has some, like, iPad tech specs. Yeah. I'm still learning to get how to get prompts laid out for Firefly and how to get things out the way I want to, but I got some pretty good ones over the weekend. They were pretty awesome. Yeah, I just found that out recently too. Julian said, like, those are yours. So they're your prompts as far as I know. I think, yeah, there's something with the Adobe because of I pay for some credits and things, so they are mine, but I'm not gonna like sell those though. I feel like that's not my jam. I will use them for reference for sure. Okay, I think Slayer's going to touch on something that I think on a regular basis. I ever felt like you should just quit in between, like as if you're working on something and feel like you don't want to do this and delete the work you've done almost already, asking because I've done. So I'm going to pass on some advice that some people who are regulars to the live streams are probably sick of hearing from me. I had a professor when I was at school, in art school, and she said to me, give it 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. And she's like, keep sketching, keep drawing, go over to something else, another part of the illustration, something that's speaking to you, something that's not, but give it 10 more minutes. And 9 times out of 10, it saves the piece. I almost deleted all of this just 15 minutes ago. And finally her hair and the balance is coming together. So just give it 5-10 more minutes. Sometimes it can't be saved. Sometimes your art cannot be saved. And sometimes the idea is not great. But don't erase it. Keep it. Delete the file if you want to. But it gets it out of your head and out of the way for good ideas to make it through. So don't get rid of it. It's not useless. Sometimes you just need to get a crappy idea out of the way. But 9 times out of 10, the 10 more minutes has saved so many illustrations in my portfolio. I've almost quit on every single one of them. Alessandra says, give it 10 more minutes, go wash some dishes, and then come back and you're a new woman. I love it. Yeah. Anything like that. Move on to a different part of the illustration. Like, I don't find, like, closing the illustration works for me very well, because if I'm frustrated when I close it, I'm probably not reopening it. So I try and move to a different part of the illustration that I think is working, or something that I can control. So if you watch the live streams where I'm doing like the tarot cards, if part of the layout isn't working, there's parts of the style that I can just do. Like I can just go to that I know it's part of the style, part of the outlines, part of the shadows, something that I know I have to do at some point in the illustration to match the rest of the cards. So I tend to go to those when I'm not really sure about a piece, and then come back to it a little bit later and come back to it a little bit after, and then kind of revisit the part that's frustrating me, and usually that's kind of cleared my head. But it's I'd give it 10 more minutes if you can. So Alessandra says, sometimes if I did it traditionally, I change it to digital and see if it's the same vibe. That's so great. I like that idea too. Switch it up somehow. Like go to something like here. I know if I'm getting frustrated, there's some lines I can clean up. I'm not really sure about something else. So maybe clean up some of the lines that I do know I want. Solidify some of those. So right now I can just kind of go in and be like, okay, these are the ones I want to keep. And then you can rebalance it. Or sometimes I'm not liking the line art, so I start putting in hierarchy lines and solidifying the lines, because sometimes they just look messy and they just don't look done yet. And once you finalize them, they look a little bit better. So 10 more minutes. Oh no, Keys had a teacher that said I was the opposite and kept asking to start over. Oh dear. Well, I guess everybody's got an approach, but I feel like starting from the beginning would be very frustrating to me, so it wouldn't bode well. Asking, I just want to know if it's working out for you being full-time and how long you've been doing it. This art that you see here, Sanel, is not full-time. This is my own studio work that is on the side. So I won't really have, unfortunately, much advice on how to do that. I'm actually figuring all that stuff out myself this year. So I think my full-time job isn't really like, it's an illustration job, but not what you're asking about, I don't think. Yeah, we're less than 10 minutes. How did that happen, Alessandra? How did that happen? I thought we had too many minutes a while ago. I was like, how am I going to fill the rest of the hour? And then I kept talking. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn these ladies off for now. We're going to save, because I have things to chat about. So, okay. So here's our... This is going to be awesome. I'm just gonna style. So I think it's gonna be a really interesting collaboration, because I think we're gonna, like, I'm gonna make sure, like, when Dan's going in and updating his line art to be a little bit more solid, that when I come into mine and solidifying, it balances out his nicely and back and forth. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of contrast right now. I got a lot of soft, like smooth lines, organic lines. He's got a lot of straight lines right now. But I do like the character's got like that pencil situation, so I feel like I could probably put some more into Medusa here. We'll see what she's got going on. And I'm very excited with where this is at right now. Oh my goodness gracious. So we still have a lot more work to do. So this is kind of like the brainstorming, sketchy side of things. Next week, we're going to kind of get into a little bit more of the vectors, figure out what we're doing. I'm just going to see what I put in my chat so I don't tell a lie. Yeah, we're going to get into the line work, kind of mixing the styles a little bit more, balancing things out a little bit, and then we're going to finalize everything in 3 weeks. So definitely make sure that you are following DTM and following his streams. He will be doing the next part of this, I believe, next Monday at 8:30 a.m. He'll be on Behance as well as YouTube. I have put his YouTube link in the chat below on Behance. So for those of you who are watching, I would like you to please go over and follow him on YouTube. And my link is also down there. We're going to be transferring everybody over to YouTube slowly before before Behance closes down. A couple quick comments, and then I'm going to get back to that. At the end of class, the prof would say he would be grading 2 pieces of work as they would sum up from half. Happened to me once, but not again. I changed my approach by sketching it out and asking for valuation. Yeah, step by step. That's like kind of like what we're doing here. Check it out, assess it, and go back again. I wish I could show you mine. I could get an honest review just to correct myself as someone left a comment on my first ever portrait illustration that it's not good, it's overlayered. You know what? It's easy for people to just leave a nasty comment. Don't do that. Don't let it get to you. Everybody's art's different. Everybody's style's different. Look how different DTM and I are right now. And look how great this is collaborating. Look how fun this is. So don't stress crazy comments. If you're doing what you like to do, you'll be fine. Your style's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Keep doing what you're doing, and just as long as you're pushing yourself and elaborating, you're gonna do great. I promise. I am gonna be here same time next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, on Behance, YouTube, and Facebook. But I want to talk really quickly. But at the end of this, yeah, this is Mojo. He doesn't like the time change, and I'm going to work tomorrow. Shh, don't tell him. He's upset about it. Okay, where is my window with all the information? This one? Oh, wrong one. Other window. Where is it? Creativity Talkspace. This one. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier in the stream. There is a kind of final Behance Last Bash group going on in Discord right now. So definitely make sure that you are participating in that. If you are a streamer and you are interested in helping in doing kind of a last day on Behance stream with us, please join in. Dan's going to be streaming all day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. all day long, and he's going to have some of us go in. I'm going to join in one time for interviews and kind of like illustrating throughout the day. I left a couple spots open. I wanted to just do the whole day, but I think we'll leave some spots open so everybody can kind of do their thing. So we can make sure that we're collaborating there. But he's going to be doing all day. He's going to be doing some illustrations. He's going to have artists on. He can have multiple artists on at the same time. This is December 16th from 10 to 6 Eastern time, and we're all just going to be just like a big last bash of Behance before they shut down that live stream. We're also collecting everybody's streaming information for their YouTube links, as well as their any other links. I think there's is it Twitch, the other one, Facebook, wherever else you're going to be streaming. We're collecting all of those so that we can make sure that we kind of get everybody over there in the meantime, so that people don't miss any of the streams, because I have not yet heard that anybody is going to stop streaming. They're just going to be in a different location. So I'm going to go over this again and again. We're going to try to do this before the stream shut down on December 16th. We have a few things. Oh, thank you so much. DTM just put my YouTube in the chat. Very helpful. Thank you so much. Oh, we've got people from Pakistan. I love that. You can create consistently. I appreciate that feedback. I feel like I have like 84 different styles. So I'm glad to hear that there's some consistency that people can see. Thank you so much. Thank you for the stream. Thanks, amazing drawings. Thanks for the stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I'm glad I can give some feedback. I'm wicked excited for this project. So for those of you kind of following along the process here, I've saved this. DTM has a duplicate file, shared file. So we're going to be working back and forth and finalizing this. So definitely join 8:30 on Monday for Dan's stream, and then I'll be back next Monday to get the next steps on this guy. Okay, I think I covered all the things we had to cover for this week. It's been a busy week. Since my last stream, there's been a lot of information. So if I missed anything, let me know. But I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week. And I'll catch you all at the same time and channels on Monday. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.